Market update here on the 27th. Today I'm just going to go over a few of the stocks that I don't normally go over, I guess. Stocks that I bought into recently. And then I'll go over the yields, dollar, slight, go over QQQ and SPY really quickly since we haven't gotten a pullback yet. Apple, what it's showing, and then we'll go over Tesla, of course. Tesla with the big event here on Thursday for the Cybertruck. That is on the 30th. What am I looking for going into that? I think the price action is still bearish, short term. After this, it's kind of remains to be seen. I still think this was a 5-wave move. This is clearly a corrective move right here. We got a big drawdown after that, so this is not an impulse move. Best case scenario for the bulls would be coming up here to maybe 249, 250, but this would have needed to be a impulse move, and it's not. So I'm still leaning to the downside from this move, with a potential target of 224 and maybe even 214 if it's a 5-wave move. There's nothing really bullish about the chart. So people looking at the weekly are saying there's a bull pennant. I've been seeing that thrown around a lot. But if you go in on smaller time frames, it doesn't really matter what it shows on the weekly. All I'm looking at is on smaller time frames, it still looks very corrective to me. And if this does not hold 226, which it barely held it right here. No, I take that back. It can come back in here to 226. It can be a nested move. So really, I'm just looking at this. I think this is going to be ABC or a 5-wave move. I'd be looking for the 224 gap fill. If it does cross back into this, then the bulls are going to want to see either a nested 5-wave move, or we're just going to end up getting A, B, and then get a C wave higher. So I do think there's probably going to be higher prices coming, but right now, short term, I'm bearish. I think there's a lot of people that are just piling into calls and think it's going to go straight up into the Cybertruck, but price action is not showing that. So I would look for some downside going into Thursday, actually, and then I'd probably be a buyer of some shares, maybe some options in this box. So 212 to 225 would be a good spot to buy for the next move higher. So as far as what it's going to do long term, that remains to be seen. Just I'm short term. PayPal. You can see I already have this move marked on here. I bought into PayPal today. I bought a little bit higher than probably should have. Could have caught this low if I was actually watching it, but I don't really mind. I can just hedge if it goes down. And if you look at the fundamentals of this stock, and then you look at the technicals of this stock, it looks like it's good to go, in my opinion. So we got a 5-wave move off the top, pretty much. Whether it's an ABC move, this is break above this barely, and then we got a very steep decline, and then we finally get a move from 68 to 104. I'm considering that as being the A wave, and then we got this very corrective move right here, which I think is WXY. You can see here we hit the 1.61 fib exactly. That's one of the reasons why I think it might have bottomed. And we also hit the 1.61 fib basically of this as well. And we got a nice bounce from 50 all the way up to 58. And so I bought a little bit higher than normally would want to, but there's a lot of gaps to the upside. I think we're in store for a C wave over the next 6 to 12 months, in which my targets are going to be anywhere from 88 to potentially 160. And yeah, it looks good to me. Even if it does break below this, let's say it turns out to be a double 3. A double 3 just means something like that. Then I would still average down right here. This is the last gap I can see in the chart at 45 bucks. So everything looks amazing, extremely oversold. You have pretty much everything in your favor if you're buying into here. I'm not buying any options right now. I'm just buying shares. Maybe I'll get into options when I know for sure it bottomed and it actually starts moving, because it's still chopping around. But I'm just going to buy some shares now and see how it goes. I don't want to buy options and then it drops to 45 bucks and be way underwater on those. My shares will be underwater as well. So 45 and I'm buying even more, and then I'd be waiting for, at that point I'm just waiting for a bounce. You have gaps here at 60, 62, 72, you have one at 85, you have one up here at 108, 116, and at 156. So if that was the A wave, I would normally be looking for a pullback to about the 0.38 fib for a B wave, and that's 120. So right there, that's like doubling your money right there from 56 bucks. So there's not a lot of risk here unless something goes dramatically wrong. But I think it's good risk reward, and I think the C wave should start, should have already started actually. So we'll see how that goes. There are a few gaps below, so if you're not in it yet, you could wait. I think there's a good chance it does come back down here to 54, 55 bucks maybe this week. Maybe, yeah, probably this week. And then you also have a gap here at 52. So it might pull back. I have some puts for this week just in case it pulls back a small amount. And yeah, that's PayPal. Look for some upside over the next year, in my opinion. The other one I got into is Hood. The reason I got into Hood is all technicals. I mean, fundamentals look pretty good in the stock too. It's gone from now 13 in July down to 8 bucks, so almost a 50% drop. And we have a structure that is A, B, C. And so the whole structure of this move is, so I'm looking for a C wave higher. Potentially 14, 15 bucks over the next, maybe, it might take a while to play out. It might take like 6, 7, 8 months, but looking for pretty much a double over that time period. So those are two stocks I bought into today. They're both pretty good overall. And then you got Tesla. Apple. Bring this one up because this structure right here, kind of similar to what I just showed you on Hood. The B wave breaks below the A wave, and then we get a big move higher. That's got to be a C wave in my opinion. This is not a way of ending a C wave right here. So what I'm saying is, if this was the end, this would be a wave 1. However, this right here looks like an ABC move, and this was a 5-wave move. So I think this whole structure is that. I think Apple can hit 166 or potentially 157 over the next, let's see here, over the next couple months. So that's kind of bearish, I know. But I'm expecting the market to pull back here in December at some point with tax loss selling and just generally a pullback from how hard we've ran. Dollar. The dollar is probably getting close as well to finishing 5 waves. I think the 3rd wave potentially finished right here. And then this is a 4th wave. We're probably finishing up a 5th wave here. And then I'd be looking for a pullback here, maybe to fill one of these gaps. Or get up here into this supply zone right here at 105. There's a gap up here actually at 106.63. So you're looking at a pullback, I think, for a wave 2. So wave 1, wave 2. But then again, I'm going to be extra bullish after that. I'm just waiting for the 2nd wave pullback on all these. But then I'm looking for like huge 3rd wave down here, 4th wave, and then ultimately down here like that. So whenever the 2nd wave happens, I don't think that this is going to be the overall 2nd wave right here. This is probably 2nd wave of the overall 1st wave. That would suck if it wasn't, because that means that would suck if it was, because that would just mean we're going to just keep on going down. But I don't think that's going to happen, just based on how far it would have to fall and how oversold it would be. So I think that just based on the pullback in the market, we're probably going to get a pullback in the dollar here in the next couple of weeks. So 10-year yield is kind of the same thing. I'm looking for a pullback here soon to like 4.72 to 4.8. And then I'm looking for more downside after that to maybe this gap fill here at 3.2 eventually. Something like that. So let's look at SPY. And I think SPY looks a lot like an ABC move as well. Now, let me go to SPX. I have it drawn out there, I think. So this is looking a lot like an ABC move as well. And you can see here, we actually nailed the no, we didn't. We came close to the 1.61 fib. It's up here at 458.2. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes a little bit higher, but then that ends up being the B wave, and then we sell off in December, back down here. If that were to happen, you could see a sell-off that could go all the way to 429, potentially all the way down here to 4,000. So watch out for that. I don't think that this is a first wave now. I think we're probably going to get another sell-off first. And then that makes a lot of sense, because then we're going to get a third wave down on the dollar, and then we can get it blast off higher after that. So that's my thoughts on it right now. If I'm wrong and this ends up being an ABC move, which it doesn't look like to me, it looks like a 5-wave move, this would be a very weird corrective structure in my opinion. So I think that I'm probably going to end up being right on this one, A, B, C wave down. But we'll see. Anything can happen, and we haven't had a red day since now October 30th. So it's been almost a month. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Actually, one more stock, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA had good earnings last week, but I think it's probably the same structure as SPY as well. That's what I think, but it's kind of hard to tell on this one. If not, it's going to be a second wave, because we did hit the bottom of this parallel line right here, pretty much exactly. So it could end up being A, B, C like that, or this could end up, like I've been saying for a while, this could end up being wave 1. We pull back here for wave 2. On this right here, we can look and just see if there's any good demand zones. On the daily, I don't see any very good ones. Let's look at the 4-hour and just see if there's anything. The best demand zone I can see is actually sitting way down here at 408 to 402. And of course, you have that big demand zone right here that we hit earlier before that blasted off. So on NVIDIA, I think we probably need to pull back to at least a 50% retracement, but we'll see what happens with that one as well. I'm just waiting to see if there's any like good signs of a pullback where I can actually make a good prediction. Apple does have 5 waves here in my opinion, so I think it's a very good start of a potential move down here for the C wave, but I'm going to give it a little bit more time to be more confident about that. So anyway, Tesla, the main one I'm watching, pretty flat all day and really, really boring. Premium killing stock, killing all those calls and puts. I'm holding puts right now. I have some covered calls. I do have some sold puts as well, but they're below 214. They're like 210. So I don't have to worry about that very much at all. I think that 224 and 214 could be a potential target over the next couple of days. That's about a 5% move lower, and that could potentially happen going into the Cybertruck stuff. So we'll see what happens. I do not think this is a bullish structure right here, though, and I've been right on all of this so far, so hopefully that continues and we get a move down here to 224. I will be buying some shares down around that area. So I'll leave it at that for now. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates, and I will catch you tomorrow.